Hey, we're back at the top again today here with another tier list. This time we're doing Generation 5, but first I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. And I know we're super far into 2021 already, but for me, it is a brand new year because I'm actually recording this at 1 a.m. on January 1st, 2021, so that's why you still see the Christmas stuff. So you're going to still see this for a little bit. Without further ado, we're going to hop into Generation 5's tier list. And it's actually pretty exciting. This might take a little bit of time, but there's also a couple little bit of gripes that I will also explain about Generation 5. But as always, how I how I grade these are S to F. Actually, you know what we do. We go Magirna tier. I spelled it wrong again. Fantastic. So how I really do things are I have my history with it, competitiveness, and the design. That's pretty much how I do things. And once we gather all those three together, that's how I come up with the design. And or not the design, but the tier placement. And of course, I will have a little bit of a snippet of an opinion on it. As we start with Victini, I can explain on how this works. So, Victini, honestly, I like the design. The battle prowess is cool. I'm actually going to stick it an A. It's a pretty good Pokemon. But as for Superior, it really didn't really stick out. I've rarely ever used it in battle. And in all honesty, the starters in Generation 5 leave a lot to be desired. So, definitely like C-ish tier on Superior. But the Magirna tier, we're going to drop instantly and bore down there. Literally, it's a strong Pokemon in battle. The design, honestly, is not very good. And to top it all off, literally, I got so mad when this was announced to be firefighting. I'm like, you saw Tepig, and it was like, there's no way that this can be firefighting. But then they got it on two legs and then say, hey, guess what? It's firefighting. And I despise it for it. I hate it. And it's literally just for that very reason. It's not really any annoying like Cresselia was or any of the sorts. So congratulations on being the first in the Magirna tier. Now I'm going to put Samurott to S tier only because it's kind of become one of those Pokemon that I just like, you know? It's like sentimental value, like how Typhlosion is also up there, in all honesty, because I mean, it's not necessarily the true mascot anymore. It's kind of taking a back seat, but it originally was. Not the Samurott, but Dewott, but it's still part of the same line. Watchog is very forgettable, so it belongs in D. Same with Liepard. I do actually have a legitimate shiny of Liepard that I found in my white version, actually. Or was it white too? I think it was white too. I don't actually remember. It was white too. But as for the monkeys, they belong in D tier. They're not very good. They're pretty gimmicky. Musharna, on the other hand, I actually kind of like. Low-key, it's kind of like the Gorbis of this generation. It's a very forgettable Pokemon, but then you remember, it's like, oh yeah, I like that Pokemon. And that's basically the gist of it. As for Unfezant, I don't know why I forgot the name for a sec, but male Unfezants they're kind of lame, but the female Unfezants, I like the design. And I'm going to drop it to C level. I like it's a pretty good bird Pokemon. Bird Pokemon. I mean, it is a bird Pokemon, but it's a flying type, but it doesn't quite hit home with the Staraptors of past generations. Zebstrika, I'm going to put on B tier just because electric Pokemon I'm kind of biased with. Gigalith doesn't really stand out for me. Same as Stoutland and Swoobat. They're all kind of just run-of-the-mill. Until I get to Excadrill, which Excadrill is definitely one of those Pokemon that kind of has that competitive background with it, and that's why I drop it at A here. It's really nice, but once again, we get into all of this. Of course, we get to Conkeldurr, and Conkeldurr is obviously going to be rank A. Conkeldurr, I don't really like the design. It definitely doesn't really make any sense, and in fact, that's probably why I'm going to drop it to B tier. I like how it's really strong, and it's a fighting type. But I don't like the design too much. But that's just me. Same with Seismitoad. I know Seismitoad's really good in Generation 8, but it's just like, if you look really close, it looks like it has zits all over its body, and it's just, ugh. I don't really like it. Take it out, Throw, and Sock is just like, it's really, I wouldn't call them gimmicky, but it's just like, why are they there, really? Levani is one of those Pokemon that, like, you think is cool, but then it just kind of sucks. I like the design, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of the same thing with Scolipede. It's really good in battle, but I don't really like the design. And, I mean, Whimsicott, You know what? I'm gonna put these two. I don't really know why, actually. I guess I just like the designs of those two, even though they're like the version exclusives. Basculin is pretty much a gimmick Pokemon. Now, Crocodile is one of those Pokemon. I guess I do really have an edgy side, even though I don't really show it. Darmanitan can be dropped into the B tier. I definitely like it, but I don't like super like it like the others. Maractus is very forgetting. Like, you honestly just forget about it. Crustle can be dropped into C. I actually have a legitimate shiny Crustle. However, I definitely need to alter it because it has a bunch of bugged stuff, so it would never go through Pokemon Bank. Bugged by because it was a randomizer, but it's a legitimate shiny that I found. Sigilyph, the design I don't necessarily like. I definitely have some history with it with battles in the past, but it's not something that would do enough to put it up there. I'd like to put Darmanitan and Scrafty with Darmanitan, just because it's like I kind of like they're really good battlers like in the past. Carcosta is one of those Pokemon that I kind of like. Like, I'm not going to put it into A tier, but I'm not going to put it into C tier. And, Archeops, I'm going to put into C tier because I hate Defeatist, honestly. But Carcosta once again, is one of those Pokemon that it's like you kind of forget about, or it's just I just think it's generally underrated design. I think it's the design, honestly, and I don't know why that is. Garbodor, everybody hates it because it's like, why is it Bag of Trash a Pokemon? I don't know, why did a Bag of Trash get a G-Max form? The world may never know, but I'm going to put it into D tier just because of that. I'm not really a fan of the design, but it's not like I don't really hate the design like other people. It's kind of out there. Cofagrigus can be in C tier. Should it be in B tier? Nah. It's a tough task. I don't think so. C tier, I'm going to put Zoroark. For me, it doesn't do it for me. I don't know why. Cinccino, there's a lot of C rankings. Like, there's a lot of hit or miss Pokemon in this generation, I guess. Cinccino's adorable, don't get me wrong, but it's like, for me, the battle-centric side of it just doesn't hold a candle to everything else. And the same goes for Gothitelle and Reuniclus. I've never really used them too much, so it's hard to say. This is a gimmick Pokemon just because it's based on the season. It isn't necessarily too good. Like, there's so many Pokemon. Okay, this just goes into the D tier no matter what, because it's a Pikachu clone, so I'm not really fond of that. Amoonguss I'm dropping into C tier just because the design, it's kind of okay, but I hate battling it. Man, there's just not a lot of Pokemon that I really like. Just look how many I'm about to drop into the C tier. Now, Galvantula. Finally, we get into a Pokemon that I like. It's just really... I don't know. I like it, but at the same time, like, it's lost a little bit of its luster in the last couple of years. But Galvantula, I think, in my opinion, just due to the past battles I've had with it, it's pretty good. I'm going to put Alomomola in the Magearna tier. I hate Alomomola because, for one, it should have been Luvdisc's evolution. They didn't go through with it, and I kind of have a lot of disdain for it because of that. So, and I hate battling it, so it's a double whammy. Congratulations. Ferrothorn, I'm actually going to put in the B tier. I think we're about to hit with a lot of B tiers here coming up, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon I now like, because there's a lot of fodder in the beginning of the Pokedex, so, Klinklang is one of those, for example, but Electros, I don't know what, I know it's Electros, but I get stuck calling it Electros by habit, because that's what I originally called it. That gets a B tier just because, I don't know, it's, like, super unique. And the fact that you need to use Gravity in order to hit it for super effective damage, or have Mold Breaker, or a variant on Mold Breaker. Chandelure is definitely A tier. It's a really strong Pokemon, and it's a Pokemon that I like to use in this one core long ago. The luster is kind of worn off from that. Behem, definitely B tier. It's like Carcosta, because it's one of those Pokemon that you do kind of forget about, but then you like it. That's pretty much it. The design is weird, but I like it in a good way, but I've never really used it in battle. Haxorus is S tier. I love Haxorus. It's definitely one of my favorite Gen 5 Pokemon. Beartic, and I'll definitely explain it more when we get into the top tier S tiers. I'm going to drop Beartic into B tier, actually. I like the design, but like the battling, I've never really used it in battle. Cryogonal, I'm going to drop into C tier. Stunfisk, I'm going to drop into D tier, because it's just there. But I'm actually going to drop Excelgor into A tier. I'm a sucker for fast Pokemon, and Excelgor is one of the fastest Pokemon in the game. Mienshao, I'm actually going to drop into A tier as well. I don't know why. It's just, a lot of these, like, I look at it and I'm like, how do I feel? And then I see, and then I see a Pokemon like Mienshao, and I'm kind of blinded by the fighting type. But I like the design. It's fast, and I'm a sucker for fast Pokemon, Switch Initiative, and all that. Anytime I see that, I'm like, ooh, I love this Pokemon. But at the same time, you get Pokemon like Druddigon, where it looks like they had 2 Pokemon ideas, and then they smashed it into one. It's like the Beta Kyurem, you know? But it's not bad, but it's not good, so I'm going to drop it into C tier. I've never really used it before, so that's about it. Golduck, I'm going to drop it into C tier as well. It's not good, it's not great, or it's not great, but it's not bad either. I like the design, it's like the Iron Giant, and you can also teach it Fly in the game, so I really like that. B tier goes Bisharp, because Bisharp is just like, it's obviously the edgy dark types that I've been saying that I like, but at the same time, something about it is holding it back. But this is an S tier, no matter what. Before Generation 5, I'm like, I've been waiting for an Eagle Pokemon for such a long time. It's a Pokemon based off of America. GameFreak, just bring out an Eagle Pokemon, and they finally brought out an Eagle Pokemon. I'm like, finally we get an Eagle Pokemon, and it's just so majestic. Obviously, the luster's worn off, but it's still an Eagle Pokemon, and I adore it so much. It's fantastic. A Pokemon like this is a Vulture Pokemon, the Vandabuzz. I don't know why I was blanking on that. I'm gonna drop it into the B tier. It looks cool, honestly, with the bone and its tuft of feathers behind it, but it's, in my opinion, it's got nothing really going for it other than the design. Looks pretty cool after that. These are just the afterthought Pokemon, you know. Bufalon is basically a Tauros knockoff. Heatmore is basically, you forget about it. And honestly, everybody knows Durant just because of Kevin Durant. But I'm going to drop it into the C tier. It's a little bit more eye-catching than the other two. I don't know why Girder's actually right there. Hydreigon, definitely a S tier. But there's so many Pokemon that I can't actually get it in one go. Volcarona, also S tier. Both of these Pokemon are really good, and I like their designs. And these are the ones that truly shine. But now we get to the Swords of Justice. Cobalion, or some people call it Cobalion. I just get stuck with calling it Cobalion. Can definitely be B tier. It's not the best out of those. I'm also going to drop Virizion there, but Terrakion's obviously the king. Outside, for the genies, though, I'm going to drop... I definitely like Thundurus a lot. Actually, that's going to be A tier. Tornadus is going to be B tier, and I'm going to drop C tier for Landorus. Landorus is super overrated in my opinion, while Tornadus is actually kind of cool because, you know, it's the first mono flying type. It's still the only mono flying type, in fact. And Thundurus, once again, I'm biased toward electric types, so. As for the Swords of Justice, Virizion just kind of, I don't know. Anytime there's a Pokemon that's kind of like weak with a quad weakness, I just get kind of worried about it. Terrakion is just really cool and badass, but Cobalion is just also kind of, I don't know. There's just something about those designs that kind of put me off. Reshiram, or Reshiram as I normally call it, because Reshiram just sounds kind of dumb and lame. Can be B tier because, I mean, Zekrom is my home game. I still have that. In fact, I don't know if this is actually going to be released. This video is going to be released before we react the 10-year reaction to my Pokemon White version. Well, that's going to be kind of interesting because I actually haven't touched that game in a while. But I haven't done it yet, so I have no opinion. I haven't seen it, so we'll get to it when I get to it. And I hope you enjoy that video when it comes out. Kyurem is actually, I'm going to put that in the A tier. I like using Kyurem Black. In fact, Kyurem Black actually is going to put Kyurem into the S tier, in my opinion. One of the things that I've realized is why the heck is there no people singing? Like a PokeTuber that could sing, because they could easily make Mellowbite their mascot. I'm going to put it into B tier because it's a unique idea, but nothing really gets it off the ground. And Keldeo, also B. It's the same thing with the other Swords of Justice. Nothing really brings it out where it's like, oh, I love the design. It's so cool. Not really. And Genesect is just kind of there. I don't really have any history with it. I've never used it, and the only thing I've seen it is get banned to Ubers. So that's it for this this tier list as we see who the Magearna is of the Generation 5. We're going to leave it at Emboar. Emboar has left such a bad taste in my mouth over the years since it was released. Nothing's really changed about it. So we're going to leave it there. As for the top tier Pokemon, this one's actually tough. But I'm going to go with Hydreigon, actually. Hydreigon, if Samurott can move. Hydreigon, I don't know why. It just is a really cool Pokemon. And that's, the design is cool. I like how it can be used in a bunch of different ways in battle. And that's about it, really. So let me know what you think is your Magearna of Generation 5, as well as your favorite S-tier Pokemon down in the comment section below. But up next, we do have Generation 6 coming your way, so if you don't want to miss that, hit the subscribe button to stay at the top. And with that, though, I want to thank you for watching. Catch you back at the top later on, because that is how we do what? That was really weird. It's a weird outro.